Hello everyone, my name is Melissa and I'm the voice behind Modest Mom. I'm a simple wife and mother and homemaker, and I have 3 children and I'm expecting our 4th pretty soon. I also love to try and create a handmade home. In this week's video, I'm going to show you how I make a homemade crochet dishcloth that you can use for your family and just to help out your family. I woke up this morning and it was pretty chilly. The fire lasted all night in our wood stove, and so I decided to put some more wood in the stove and get another fire going. It's getting really cold here in Missouri, but actually I think this next week it's supposed to warm up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and get the fire going and just try to ease into the morning here. Mornings seem really busy for me just because I'm getting all the kids ready and whatnot, getting breakfast going. We're going to do that. It gets pretty crazy of a morning for our household anyway. Alright, so we're giving the hot coals a good stir before we add some more wood in there to warm the house. It does not take very long to warm our house up because we live in a tiny home. It's very cool to live in a tiny home. It doesn't take much to heat it up, and it doesn't take much to cool down either. The sun is shining this morning, and it's just beautiful. It's one of the best things I think about staying at home is just easing into the morning and having that bonding time with the kiddos. In this week's video, I wanted to discuss and show you guys how I make our own homemade dishcloths out of cotton yarn. And you may say, well, Melissa, you have to know how to crochet to do that. Yes, you do. But crocheting is actually pretty easier, especially I think compared to knitting. And in making this dishcloth, you only need to know how to do a slip knot, a chain, and how to do a half double crochet, which is one of my favorite stitches. So don't worry, I will try to do my best and take you through it step by step for those of you that maybe haven't done it before. In our homeschool, we are actually teaching my oldest how to crochet. She seems really interested in it, and I love that. I'm excited because I like it too. If you know me, I love to crochet and knit, and especially in front of a warm fire. So let's get right into it. So to do this, you'll only need 3 things, which is your yarn, obviously. I like to use cotton for dishcloths just because it's softer and it soaks up water some more to do your dishes. And also a crochet hook and a tapestry needle as well, which I will use at the end. Your paper on the yarn will also tell you what size hook is good to use for your projects. Mine's a little bit bigger than the required one, but it'll be okay just for this little sample. So first we're going to start off with doing our slip knot. This is what you're going to start all crochet projects with, is a slip knot. And if you don't know how to hold a crochet hook, it's sort of like you're using a butter knife is what I like to think of it as. And that's just how I hold it. I know there's a bunch of different ways that you can learn here on YouTube with holding the crochet hook. But essentially you're just going to make a little hole there and have the 2 lines crossing over each other. And I usually just pinch the top of the hole so it's easier to work with. And then you stick your crochet hook through the hole to grab that little tail that's dangling behind it. And then you pull your slip knot tighter. So I'm going to do that again just so you guys can see it again. You take your little tail, because you'll have a little bit of excess there at the end, and you're going to make a little hole with the 2 lines overlapping. Stick your crochet hook in and pull that little tail through the hole, but not completely through, because you want to tie it a little tighter to make your slip knot. Alright, and then we're going to pull that tight, but not too tight because you want to still be able to work your yarn. If you need to pause the video or rewind it, I totally understand. Please feel free to go ahead and do that. I learned to crochet through videos and I totally understand that. And this has been a lot of trial and error for me, just crocheting and knitting in general. And if it is for you, don't give up. I encourage you to keep trying because that's how we learn things, is through failure. Now, try to pay attention through how I am holding the yarn. I'm going to try to go slow, and that way you guys can just see the placement of the yarn in my hands. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound, oh, that saved a wretch. So once you get the placement of the yarn in your hands, and it just takes practice with working with the yarn, I like to pinch that little bottom of that slip knot with my thumb and my middle finger while I'm working, because it makes it a lot easier as you're working to allow it to not get away from your hands. The next thing we're going to start to learn is how to chain, and that's what I am showing you right now. Like I said, if you need to slow it down, I totally understand. Each chain, when you get it right, will look like a little V, and that'll be one stitch. So what you're going to do is you're just going to use your middle finger and your thumb and pinch that little slip knot, the bottom of that slip knot. You take your hook, grab your yarn, and pull it through that hole, and it creates one chain. And you're going to keep chaining until you get how wide you want your project to be, or how wide your dishcloth is going to be. So just keep watching, rewind it, watch again, whatever you need to do. It's pretty easy. You just put your hook and wrap your working yarn around it. The working yarn is what's attached to the ball of yarn, and you pull it through the hole to create one stitch. And I think I did around 32 stitches on this dishcloth, but really I should have made it a little bigger. Just because cotton will shrink in the wash and dryer, and so keep that in mind when you're counting out how many stitches or how wide you want your project or your dishcloth to be. So I ended up stitching a few more here at the end. I don't think I was satisfied with it the first time. And don't forget just to try to count out your stitches just to make sure. And also, if you like a certain size, you'll remember how many stitches to do, and it'll go a little faster the next time you make a dishcloth. So now we're going to be working in that stitch next to the one that your crochet hook is in, that little V right next to it. You're going to wrap your yarn around your hook and insert it in two of the strands of that V stitch. Some people do it in the top two. Sometimes I do it on just the two on the side. It's whatever you prefer. And then you are going to grab, after you go through the two stitches, the two strands of thread, you're going to wrap your yarn around and pull it through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. And then you're going to wrap your hook around it and pull it through all 3. So we're going to do that again in the next stitch after the one you just did. Wrap your yarn around your hook and poke it through that next stitch, the 2 strands. Grab your yarn and pull it through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook now. Wrap it around once more and pull it through all 3 strands. In that move right there, in that one stitch, is your half double crochet. So I'm going to do that again once more. Wrap it around, poke it through your next stitch. You should have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to wrap it around your working yarn and pull it through again. You'll have 3. And then you're going to wrap it around once more and pull it through all 3 loops on your hook. So that is basically it on a half double crochet. I'm going to work these a little bit faster now, and you are literally just going to do that same stitch through every little V stitch or chain that you did. You're going to work it all across that first row there. Now that you've got that whole first row worked of your half double crochets, I've got one stitch left there on the end, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now remember how we chained. When you get to that last half double crochet and you finish it, you're going to just simply chain 2 and then flip your work over. So that way we can start doing the half double crochet on the next row and going back across. Now that first stitch is already taken up by your 2 chains that you made, so we're going to be working in the one next to it. And you can see the V on top. We're going to wrap our yarn around our hook and insert it into that V stitch. You're going to wrap your yarn around it again and pull it through, and by that point you should have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to wrap it around once more and pull it through all 3, just like we did in the previous row. So you're going to continue doing the half double crochet into each little stitch across the next row as well. You're going to keep repeating the row every time, chaining 2, flipping your work and working across each row until you have basically finished your dishcloth to the desired length that you wish. Now, we're going to pretend that this part right here is the end of our dishcloth, or it would be the corner of your dishcloth. The very end of it would be. So you're going to have that knot already on your hook, and you're going to make it a little extra secure. You're going to grab your yarn and pull it through and pull just a little bit tight to make sure it just kind of gives it a little bit extra security. And then you're going to take some scissors and cut a little bit down from the knot so you have a little bit of tail, and then pull that all the way through so that it comes out all the way through that knot. Alright guys, well that is pretty much it on the homemade cotton crocheted dishcloth. A dishcloth was one of the first things that I learned when I learned to crochet, and it's super simple. It's just the 1 stitch, the half double crochet, and it's something that can help out your home and help out your family. Once you start using a cotton dishcloth, like a crocheted or knitted cotton dishcloth, you will never go back to the store-bought washcloths. Trust me. You can use them for other things besides just the dishes. You know, you can probably use them to wash your face and different things like that. I like to use the white color just because I can bleach them. That's just me, but there is all kinds of different colors. So I'm excited for you. If you give it a try, please let me know. Or if you already crochet and you do know how to do the dishcloths, let me know in the comments below. And I really love to make these also for gifts around Christmas time and around the holidays, which is coming up. So every once in a while when I'm wanting to just sit down of an evening and relax, I'll get my hook and my yarn out and I will work on a dishcloth as well. And you know, everybody has to use them, so it's a lot of love and labor, but it's something that you can use every day. And as a homemaker, it's something that you can do at home just to help out your family any little bit that you can. So thank you for watching, and please check out some of my other videos here on Modest Mom. There will be things from cooking to just simple living, to being a mom, to just different testimonies. You never know what you might find on here. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. These are some of my finished dishcloths that I already have made up. So that is what the finished product looks like, and this is a tapestry needle. So at the end you will have a tail that you will want to weave in like we talked about before, and you're just going to pull the tail through that little hole at the end of the tapestry needle, and you're going to run it through each stitch. And again, I like to run it through 2 strands every time you go through. So you just pull that little tail through 1 stitch and you go back and you pull it through this way, and then you wind it. That's why they call weaving in the ends, right? So that's what you'll want to do just to make a finished clean edge on your dishcloth. Amazing.